Out in 1937, and very evidently so. There is a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
To a MAGA conservative movie. We're just trying to represent the values that Snow White is based in, the timeless values that we all loved growing up, that are sad.
And it's lonely. It's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness can exist, so can other things, and I will.
White and the Seven Dwarfs hold a special place in the hearts of generations, but when Disney announced a live-action remake of this timeless tale, excitement quickly turned into controversy. Fans were left shocked by some of the creative decisions, and it appears these decisions have driven some audiences to turn to the Daily Wire, which has announced its own, accurate version of the original classic. This move has reportedly left actress Rachel Zegler furious. The controversy began when Disney revealed the casting of Rachel Zegler, a Latina actress, as Snow White. This decision sparked heated debates, with some fans expressing disappointment that the remake was not preserving the German roots of the original story. While diversity in casting is often celebrated, critics argued that this particular story, with its fairy tale origins deeply rooted in European folklore, warranted a more culturally authentic approach. However, the casting wasn't the only point of contention. Rachel Zegler herself fueled further debate through her comments about the original 1937 animated film. In various interviews, she criticized the classic, describing it as creepy and stalkerish, particularly regarding the relationship between Snow White and Prince Charming. Zegler also suggested that the new adaptation would move away from the traditional true love's kiss storyline, favoring a more feminist interpretation. These remarks sparked backlash from fans who cherished the original's romantic themes. Many felt that such significant changes undermined the core of the story, which has been a beloved part of popular culture for decades. Critics of Disney's approach argue that while modernizing fairy tales can be valuable, it should not come at the cost of disregarding their historical and cultural significance. Meanwhile, the Daily Wire's announcement of its own version of the Snow White story has gained traction among fans disillusioned with Disney's creative direction. Promising a return to the accurate and original version of the tale, this move has highlighted the growing divide between traditionalists and those advocating for reimagined narratives in entertainment. The discourse surrounding Disney's Snow White remake underscores broader debates about cultural authenticity, modernization, and representation in media. As the film's release approaches, it remains to be seen how audiences will respond to this reimagining of a classic tale.
Prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs holds a special place in the hearts of generations, but when Disney announced a live-action remake of this timeless tale, excitement quickly turned to controversy. Fans were left shocked by some of the creative decisions, and because of these choices, many are now turning their attention to the Daily Wire, which has announced its own, accurate version of the original classic. Allegedly, this move has made Rachel Zegler, Disney's Snow White, absolutely furious. From the start, fans were skeptical about Disney's approach. Casting Rachel Zegler, a Latina actress, as Snow White sparked intense debates. Many argued that Snow White's German roots were integral to the story and should have been preserved. While diversity in casting is generally celebrated, some felt this particular decision disregarded the cultural authenticity of the classic fairy tale. However, the casting was just the beginning of the controversy. Rachel Zegler's own comments added fuel to the fire. In interviews, she criticized the original 1937 animated movie, describing it as creepy and stalkerish, particularly referring to the relationship between Snow White and Prince Charming. She also hinted that the live-action remake would abandon the traditional true love's kiss storyline in favor of a more feminist narrative. Fans were divided, with many feeling this was stripping the story of its core themes and charm. One fan bluntly stated, "This is no longer Snow White. It's just a different movie using its name."
And it's lonely. It's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness can exist, so can other things, and I will be okay.
This sentiment became widespread, especially after Disney announced that the Seven Dwarfs would be replaced with magical creatures. The Seven Dwarfs are not just side characters. They are central to the original story's heart. Fans took to social media in outrage, accusing Disney of pandering to modern sensitivities. The backlash was so intense that Disney eventually decided to bring the dwarves back, but the solution, using CGI to create the characters, only worsened the situation. Critics panned the CGI for its uncanny valley effect, calling it lifeless and artificial. Fans lamented that actors with dwarfism were excluded from the project, missing an opportunity to highlight real talent. Even former Disney designer David Hahn, the son of one of the original directors of Snow White, didn't hold back his criticism. He called the new film insulting to his father's legacy and Disney's history. According to him, Disney has lost touch with what made the original special, prioritizing modernization over authenticity. This backlash created an opening for the Daily Wire to step in. Known more for its political commentary than filmmaking, the Daily Wire announced its own version of Snow White. Promising to honor the original fairy tale without injecting modern politics, their adaptation seeks to retain the classic themes of love, bravery, and innocence while updating it for today's audiences. Brett Cooper, cast as Snow White in the Daily Wire's film, emphasized her gratitude for the opportunity and her desire to stay true to the original spirit of the story. The trailer for their adaptation was met with overwhelming positivity, with fans praising its respect for tradition. As fans compare the two adaptations, many have speculated that the Daily Wire's version might outperform Disney's at the box office. For now, it's clear that audiences are eager for adaptations that honor their source material. Rachel Zegler's portrayal of Snow White and her outspoken remarks have sparked significant controversy, overshadowing the artistic potential of Disney's adaptation. Many fans have expressed disappointment, feeling that the drama has detracted from the film's charm. In contrast, Brett Cooper's version of Snow White, produced by the Daily Wire, has avoided such backlash. Fans have praised its respectful tone and Brett's humble approach to the iconic role, earning the adaptation a wave of goodwill. Rumors suggest Rachel Zegler is reportedly upset about the competition, especially after Brett publicly addressed the controversies surrounding Disney's version. Allegedly, Rachel remarked, "Mine was better," when asked about the Daily Wire's film. While she hasn't directly confirmed or denied these claims, fans speculate that the rivalry has created mounting tensions. Disney, meanwhile, has chosen to stay silent on the matter, likely to avoid amplifying the discussion around the competing project. The contrasting receptions of the two adaptations speak volumes. Brett's faithful engagement with the original story has resonated with audiences, while Rachel's critiques and defensive comments have alienated many. This divide has fueled speculation that the Daily Wire's adaptation could achieve unexpected success, sending a message to Hollywood that audiences value stories that honor their roots. As Disney faces increasing criticism, the Daily Wire's Snow White continues to build momentum. Whether this new version can surpass Disney's remains uncertain, but the competition underscores a larger cultural debate about how beloved classics should be reimagined. Will Disney's modern feminist take find its audience, or will the Daily Wire's traditional retelling win over fans? The fate of these dueling Snow Whites ultimately depends on which story resonates more deeply with viewers. Only time will reveal the lasting impact of these adaptations.